Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. This true crime story is coming to you from South Africa, where a woman has been found guilty of taking the life of her boyfriend, who happens to be a police officer. Now, the circumstances of this case are very, very overwhelming. And before I get into it, kindly hit the subscribe button to help us reach 2,000 subscribers before the end of this year. Thank you. The woman at the center of this is 30-year-old Zanele Mkhonto, and she has been charged with taking the life of her boyfriend, who is a police officer by name Sergeant Madeleine Kosi Happy Tuala, who is also 47 years old. Zanele Mkhonto, the culprit, is 30 years old. Let me just call her Zanele, and I'll call the victim Happy. Now, the reason why she did this is something I have never seen before in my coverage of true crime stories. So, what she did was she actually used the service weapon of her boyfriend, Happy, to actually take his life by firing 5 shots at him whilst he was sleeping. But when she was asked of why she did that, guess what she said? She said the reason she did that was because when they were making love that evening, her boyfriend was rough with her in bed, and as such, when they were done with the act, she was so angry. She got up, looked at him as he was fast asleep, and then she saw that his service weapon was on top of the bed. So she picked it up, and the rest is history. Now, this case is very baffling to me, honestly. I just don't get it. But it's testament also to the fact that people are going through a lot. The things that trigger people vary from person to person. And I believe that the moment somebody prompts you that I don't like what you are doing, please stop, I think that you need to respect it, especially if you know what you are doing is wrong. I think you need to respect it. Don't belittle the concerns that people raise with how you treat them, irrespective of whatever it is you are doing or irrespective of whoever you are dealing with. Because according to Zanele, when this was going on in bed with her boyfriend, she actually told him that he was being rough with her and she didn't like it, but he didn't mind. As to whether that would be a successful defense, I don't think so. Fast forward, she has actually pleaded guilty in court, and she has stated her reason. This crime happened in August of 2022, and according to Zanele, this was the climax of a relationship that they started in 2021, which according to her was a very beautiful relationship. Things were going very well between them, and they were on cloud 9 up until early 2022, where things got a bit hectic between them and tensions. So she said that she had moved in with her boyfriend at that time, but due to the chaos and conflicts, she moved out. But then he came to her again to resolve issues, and he asked her to join him in his car so they go for shopping. But when she joined him in the car, he rather drove her to his house and started talking to her, trying to get her to reconsider coming back into the relationship with him. So, at which point, according to Zanele, her former boyfriend also called her and she didn't pick up the call. And upon noticing this, Happy was not happy. I hope you get it. Her boyfriend, who she's in that chaotic relationship with by name Happy, was not happy. He saw what he saw. And according to Zanele, he got frantic and he was crying. He He pulled out his service weapon and he was talking about doing something crazy because she was driving him crazy. According to her, to calm him down, she just got closer to him, got romantic and intimate with him, at which point he got rough with her during the intimacy in bed. And she told him that she doesn't like that, he should stop and be gentle. He didn't listen. He continued being aggressive, and when they were done and he was fast asleep, she was so angry at him, she took his service weapon, and then the rest is history. She is pleading guilty to this, and her sentencing has been adjourned to 27th of November 2023. I don't think she's going to beat this case, honestly, because he's also a police officer and the investigations are also being spearheaded by another division of the same police or security agency. Definitely, you can't take the life of a police officer and get away scot-free. And everything she's saying is everything she's saying. What I mean by that is, the dead tell no tales. Her boyfriend, Happy, is deceased at her hands or by her hands, and he's not here to tell his side of the story. If she's fabricating things to make herself look like a victim so that she can gather some sort of pity to lessen her sentence or maybe even beat the case, we can't tell. But all we can tell is that she took his life. I don't know if there is any overwhelming evidence to corroborate any of these things she's saying, but even if there is, all what she said isn't grounds on which you would have to take someone's life. So as it stands now, she's awaiting trial, or let me say she's awaiting the verdict and sentencing, and that is going to come through just about a week from now. And personally, I don't think she's going to beat this case. I actually fear for her safety. I don't know how vindictive some of these police officers can be. I fear for her safety actually, because if you take the life of a cop, some cops don't forgive for that. And if you end up in prison, some of them have long arms that can get you in prison and make your life very uncomfortable. So I don't know. I feel that it's a very difficult situation for Zanele, and if she could have just kept her sanity a bit, she might not have been in this situation. Granted, her boyfriend was being rough. You could have still just moved on afterwards instead of deciding to take the route that she did. But hey, I'm not blaming her. Sometimes we get to say some of these things because we are now looking at the case in hindsight of what happened and how things played out and where we are now. So it's easier for me to say this honestly than it is for her to have seen it at the time. And I respect it so much. Respect the analysis I'm making, because sometimes in the heat of the moment, hey, the common sense gets lost. It's easy to advise when you are not in the situation, although that also doesn't mean the advice is not relevant or the advice is not true. So as it stands now, honestly, I don't want to be Zanele Mkhonto because she is in a hell of trouble. She is in so much hell, and in court, she was actually apologizing to the family of her late boyfriend and pleading with them to forgive her for what she has done. Personally, I think that her anger took over. She lost her sanity. No, I don't think she lost her sanity. I think she got too angry and she just did something that she is now regretting for the rest of her life. That is not an excuse. She would have to face the full rigors of the law, because imagine it was the other way around. Yeah, you would see a lot of heat coming on this, and I'm expecting this shouldn't be any different because it's this way. Either way, a life has been lost, and I'm expecting that this will be prosecuted to its full extent, and Zanele Mkhonto, if found guilty, would face the full rigors of the law. I just hope that there will be structures and measures in place to prevent any form of bias during the investigation, the prosecution, the sentencing, and also even the imprisonment. Because all those institutions handling these dynamics are some way, somehow affiliated to the police in one way or the other. And if any officer in that chain decides to be vindictive against Zanele Mkhonto, I think her life would even be worse than where it is right now. What do you think of this case? Do you think she's justified? Do you some way understand why she would do what she did? Do you have an experience you want to share? What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comment section. But hey, help us reach 2,000 subscribers by hitting the subscribe button and just sharing our videos with other people in your circles. Thank you for the support. Like I've been saying, keep an eye out, stay safe out there, and I'll catch you on the next one.